Ray Byers Jr. with Byers Solar, LeafGuard, and Solatube. So, Richard and Beverly, you had an experience with us quite a number of years ago with Solatube. Kind of share that experience with us and what made you decide to think you needed a Solatube or a Skylight to give us a ring.
Well, we have one hallway in particular in the house that was pretty dark, and it was so dark that we had to keep lights on in that hallway in the daytime. And so we had considered solar tubes. You know, we'd see them at home and garden shows and whatnot, and we just finally decided to try it. And so we had Byers come out and install that one solar tube, and it was it lit that hall up like it was just, you know, daylight coming in from the ceiling, and it was amazing. And our experience with the installer was so seamless, and the customer service was so great that we remembered that. And then about 3 or 4 years later, we started thinking about solar. So that brings us to today.
One thing I noticed about it, I love light.
Right.
And even at night, when I'm walking down a hallway, I like a bright light for that. But not only did it light the hall, the Solatube, but it seemed to widen the hall, just having that light there. And it's not a really wide hall, but it's not a skinny hall either. But it just seemed to expand the hall tremendously. And originally the lens that was on the Solatube was a particular color, so to speak, a shade. And I thought, I'd like this to be a little more natural. And so I made a phone call, and immediately I got a response, and they said, oh, I think we can do a little bit better than that according to your desires. So they came out and replaced it, and it's just perfect.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So that process throughout the day of the installer installing that, was it a real lengthy process? Did it take, you know, the whole entire day, or was it pretty?
No, it certainly didn't take all day. No. As I recall, it was maybe 2 or 3 hours. Yeah, and you know, when he left, the only way you knew that he'd been there was the hall was light. And
turn off that light.
Yeah, right.
And I was also concerned originally with the seal on the roof.
Right.
And was guaranteed that that wouldn't be a problem, and it hasn't been at all. So.
Well, that's one of the benefits about having a roofing contractor get up there and
Yes.
cut those holes in your ceiling.
That's right.
Right.